playing Pitt this week. How in the world did they shut down Virginia Tech's offense the way they did, and just how good are they on defense? Is it Narducci or personnel or a combination?
You know, every game is as we all know, is a different game that you play, and your team shows up in terms of what it's able to do. And obviously, they had a pretty good game plan, you know, versus the run, particularly. You know, Pittsburgh's always been a very tough physical team. You look at it in the run game as well. They executed, and they did a great job playing on the road, and they came out with a victory there. So, again, I've always complimented this conference of having, you know, good coaches and where they've been and things that they've done. But they did do an excellent job of playing a game on the road. That's what we need to do this week, is do an excellent job of playing on the road at their place.
Like, just generally speaking, bye week, how did you guys kind of respond after Boise State? Have you done anything, emphasize anything differently, maybe particularly on the defensive side of the ball coming off of Boise State?
Yeah, we've done a couple things that we've addressed, you know, internally as a staff. You know, one of the few things is Coach Tenuta will be on the field from this point on. Different opportunities there to present itself. You know, our guys, with Saturday being a day off, there's a lot of our guys stayed around, and they practiced on their own. They got together and they watched, you know, the Pitt game, you know, in our team meeting room. So no one was looking to get out of here. There was a lot of guys that stayed behind, and did extra work. So in moving forward for us, you know, again, you have the opportunities. We spent a practice on special teams alone. Then we spent a couple practices offensively and defensively from different elements that we need, emphasizing turnovers, emphasizing obviously hanging on to the ball, protecting the football. Those are all critical elements of having a chance to be successful. And knowing that, you know, that the game against Boise is done and it's over. It's about what we do. And now with the conference games coming up, it's our first conference game, and a chance to be successful, you know, from this standpoint. And with a lot of goals still left, you know, the mindset of the players, I'm sure you'll talk to some of them or one of them. I don't know who you're talking to today, but I would ask them, and I think it's very positive.
Mike, obviously, Pat Narduzzi's background was defensively coming from Michigan State. They were very aggressive Saturday in Blacksburg in terms of bringing pressure. Are they schematically much different than previous Pitt defenses in what they do?
You know, David, I believe, like all of us, when we watch the films of the games that we have in the previous games, if you notice the East Carolina film, there was an aggressiveness, and so that's also part of who they are. You know, they'll play a multiple front defense, and they will, if you get in third down situations, they'll give you different looks and they'll bring pressure. So, you know, again, it's important for us, you know, these first and second down opportunities to not be in second and long, because they will try to, we talk about dialing up defenses. They do a good job of doing that. And as I said, they did a great job of applying pressure. And we're going to have to do a good job of protecting, getting the ball out quickly, you know, doing other things that can help you from that mindset. But Coach Narduzzi is a good football coach, and you know, and we know that, you know, it's important for us to be in rhythm. It's important for us to get the ball out and play well. You know, I believe it's their homecoming, but to play well on the road.
Tough non-conference schedule is supposed to prepare a team better for its conference play. You've been through a grueling first month of the season. Do you feel, because of that, though, that as you start conference play, that you're going to be prepared for most things you see now?
Well, there's a lot of good teams that we played, and it does prepare you for opportunities to look at what you're doing and how you're doing it. It allows yourself to look at, as the season has gone on, those teams that you've played, if they continue to have some measure of success, and you see the games, you see the decisions, you see, you know, have a chance to look at how other football games are played, and it's interesting that what you can control of and take care of are the things that cause you issues that kept showing up or that keep showing up, and for us moving forward, you know, it's it's a dedicated practices that we just talked about that dealt with those things. I believe this football team can and will be a better football team coming out of those games, that we played, and that's the focus. And the focus now is first conference game, an opponent that's an away game, a team that we played last year, had some success, but it's about this year, this now, and this opportunity. And so our mindset is on the focus of going, getting to the conference and playing and being successful.
Mike, it's been a month now, but how much different is Pitt offensively without James Conner as opposed to the team that you had to go up against last year? Have they changed that much without a player like that?
They're still a very physical football team. You look at their offensive line, they double team and try to push to the next level. Conner was an exceptional player, very tough player, downhill player. It's unfortunate, that his injury occurred, and then the next guy in, then he had an injury. Now the guy that's playing for him now, they're still running their blocking schemes, what their offensive line has been used to. Their fullbacks and their tight ends, they'll play multiple tight ends. So they're still basically running their offense, the scheme or the system of it. It's a different cast of individuals that are carrying the ball for them. They still have Tyler Boyd, who is a tremendous athlete that they use the jet sweep with and do different things with him. So just when you start to gear up to stop the run, then they do the play action passes and feature Tyler Boyd. So the scheme and style of it looks very similar, but the who's doing it, those are the things that are that are different.
You mentioned Boyd, third time around now that you'll see him. He had some success last year against you. Do you do anything different with each year? Sure, he improves each year, and this year specifically, he's kind of the man out there without Conner. He's kind of carrying this offense. What do you do against him? Facing him now for a third time.
Yeah, you have to know where he's at. Based on his splits, based on the type of plays that they utilize his strengths. He's also a returner. So there's a lot of things. When you have your best, one of your better players, you try to get the ball in his hands many times as you can, and there's no doubt that's one of the things that they do. So being conscious and aware of where he aligns is critically important to us. As I said, we talked about, tackling, about communication. All those things are things that you can help yourself do to limit, any negative issues or negative plays, and we're going to have to do that because, like I said, he's a very good player. He's been a very good player for a long time. It's like he's been around the league for a long time, not just 3 years.
Like you mentioned last year's game against them, it was a pretty good crowd, night game. I think it got you to 4-2. That seemed like a bit of a turning point for this, and was it disappointing, frustrating not to build off that win and kind of finish out that season and go into this year?
Well, yeah, that's last season, and this season, coming out of the games that we've played now and going into our first conference game, it leads to this is a new season, new opportunity, first conference game, and the mindset of where we are. Like I said, I just saw Eric walk in. You can ask him the question about where the mindset of the team is. Yeah, I believe it's in a good place, a really good place, and we talk about positive things. There's enough negativity that's around, but you want to talk about positive things. These are still 18, 19, 20-year-olds that that are trying to find some success and do some things that are to allow them to achieve some goals. So we'll continue to keep talking about those things. That was a good game for us. We have to take this game and use this as a game that can also springboard us and help us move into the rest of the conference play.